каждый день без всякой спешки я в дупле грызу орешки. Щелк, 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 щелк. Щелк, щелк.
A note Minsk district. Katya Nebozhenko lives somewhere here in her small one-roomed flat. We worry a lot on the way to her place, because any sounds annoy her 16-year-old daughter, to say nothing of unknown people. Our presence can provoke a stroke or even an emergency call, but we hope that everything will be all right.
Здравствуйте, заходите. Это нам, да. Какая же красота, они живые.
Rett Syndrome is a little studied genetic disease, a severe form of mental deficiency. It appears because of gene mutation, as the result of which brain is developing incorrectly. Officially, this disease is admitted in 1983. It takes the second place after Down syndrome. DNA is a self-protective system where code genes, which can be rarely damaged, make only 2%. And even if a kind of effect takes place, for example radiation or harmful chemical substances, they usually influence on non-code sequences. Human's genome protects oneself by this mechanism, and people preserve as a species. Nevertheless, mutations or changes of genetic materials store in generations and can appear at one time. Rett syndrome. It's usually observed among girls, and a child with such diagnosis can live 15-25 years. Every day Kate spends in a different way, but mornings are always hard. The illness wakes her up early. She breathes actively. It takes her half an hour to come around, and only by breakfast she calms down and switches over to eating process. By dinner her stomach or head can hurt, or a new attack with respiratory stop can happen. And not one attack, but 5, 6. Her mom is always ready. She can give an injection, give a pill, or calm Kate down. She can't have a rest day and night. Kate wakes up for several times. The diapers and bed sheets have to be changed, and the next day brings new trials. It never happens when a hard day passes and we breathe with relief, because we have to bear something else. A stomach hurts, then a head, and now this tumor in her breast. It's impossible to imagine how it will develop. We have to use our everyday drugs for the rest of the life. The disease doesn't allow Kate to eat the same food as other children do. She's on a strict diet, and this is for the rest of her life as well. For example, she is allowed to eat turkey cutlets and boiled beef with cereal, oatmeal, buckwheat, millet. That means we can't eat potatoes, we can't eat fish, fruit or vegetables. That's why every day we eat the same, 3 times a day the same food. I usually have all this cooked, but today I had to take and mash it. Tatsiana couldn't imagine in her youth that she will live like this. My dreams. I even don't know what I dreamt of. I always wanted to have a family and kids. I didn't think about a job or a career. A family was on the first place for me. That's why when Kate was born, I was very happy. I thought that we would have a life full of journeys and adventures. And we will be together everywhere. But the illness confined us to the flat, and it doesn't let us go anywhere. Tatsiana can't work, she constantly has to take care of Kate. They live on the government child benefit. It's about $230 per month. This is not enough, but she doesn't have any other source of income, and she has to pay bills, to buy drugs, clothes, shoes, diapers. Sometimes kind people help, giving money, diapers, or just sitting with Kate when mom has to leave for a while. That's why Kate shouldn't be left at home alone. They also helped with the repair. Tatsiana doesn't give up, but tries to cope with the difficulties. Another point is that there are obvious things when people give birth to absolutely healthy children but don't want to bring them up and give them necessary care. Children suffer different injuries, roam over the streets alone, anything can happen to them. These are really serious things, but trust me, children are born absolutely healthy in such families. Sick children are born in families of very responsible parents. Many people, including my relatives, offered me to put Kate into the house of invalids, and even now many of them say that I have to feel sorry for myself, to think of myself. Well, I can't condemn those moms who leave their kids, but I didn't do it because I love my child, and when you love somebody you can't abandon or betray, because love is always a sacrifice. And you share with the person a life he lives. And the same thing is with your kid. When you love, you can't give up. You have to go together till the end. Who is it? Uncle Valera? Looking from a side, you never notice and feel this pain and sufferings Kate and her mom come through. How can they live? How to bear it? Whom to hope for? Well, every man who believes in God hopes for Him. And in our life we rarely have this God's help. It's always with us. Of course, it's very difficult to share sufferings, but when you love, you always feel sense in it. You can't behave in another way. I can't imagine how I can behave in another way. I don't understand it. Even when I leave her for a day with Granny when I go somewhere, I worry a lot. And to leave her forever... I don't know. It's impossible for me. Why did God give her to me? Well, there are a lot of reasons. He brings me up. He teaches me to live in another way. He teaches me to sympathize, to take care, to love. There are no relationships with Kate's dad, are they? I haven't seen him since Kate was born. I don't know where he is now, whether he is alive. We don't know anything about each other. He didn't see her as well. I think he even doesn't know that she is so sick. That means that this man abandoned us, but I don't feel hurt. Kate, come here, sit down with me. What else can I tell you? This is our life. It's a good life, a different life, and a sad one. There are a lot of tears and grief. But you can't put yourself into a grave. You have to live. You have to bear. Do you want to have a look? Here, there is a priest on the photo with you. Carefully. Whom do you want to look at? Is that all? Kate, are you tired? Are you tired? Why do you keep silence? We often complain somebody of our lives, that everything is wrong, everything is bad. But Tatsiana is sure that nothing really bad has ever happened to us, that we deserve everything we have and have to accept and bear it. But it's very difficult to learn it. We have to learn humility and patience from God, because I don't know anybody else whom we can learn it from. I also learn. I really don't know how to do it. I mean, it's still very difficult for me. Of course, I can bear it with the teeth closed, but it's much more difficult to humble. Hold on. Save God.
Каждый день без всякой спешки я в дупле грызу орешки. Щелк, 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 щелк. Щелк, 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 щелк. Я печальный не бываю, веселюсь и напеваю. Ла-ла-ла, ла-ла-ла. Я печальный не бываю, веселюсь и напеваю. Ла